Welcome back to Wash Talk, everyone, the Car Wash Podcast. I'm your host, Rich DiPaolo, and joining me today, we have Kurt Chambliss, Executive Vice President of Business Development for TMC Financing. Kurt, appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule to join me today for this episode.
Thank you, Rich. I'm very excited to be here with you today. I know that TMC and carwash.com have had a good relationship the last few years, and I look forward to sharing more news about financing for your audience.
Sounds great. Yeah, today on the episode, we're discussing the SBA 504 Commercial Real Estate Loan Program, which, as you know, Kurt, it's a popular financing option for operators looking to take their business to the next level. And who doesn't want to take their business to the next level, right, Kurt?
Absolutely. Yes.
But before we get started with that line of questioning, Kurt, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself, maybe some company background and what you all do?
Sure. So let me start with TMC Financing. That's the company I've been working at for the last 15 years. TMC Financing is a certified development company. We're certified by the SBA to work on this one particular loan program called SBA 504. And we'll get into the details of what an SBA 504 loan is. But suffice to say, there are about 200 CDCs across the country, of which TMC is one. We partner with banks to provide high leverage financing at low fixed rate costs for a variety of small businesses. Car washes is a great one, and we're going to talk a lot of details about car washes today. But we work with manufacturers, doctors, wholesalers, hotels, a wide variety of different business owners really like this program and specialize in or like to leverage this program for their occupancy costs.
Understood. Yeah. And I'm sure you're familiar with the car wash industry. We get so many new entrants into the industry at various levels of understanding, not only about the car wash industry, but business in general, right? So for operators who might not be as familiar with the program, can you explain the SBA 504 loan program and why it might be a valuable option for car wash businesses looking to finance things like real estate and equipment, construction, improvements and renovations?
Mm-hmm. So the SBA is there to help small businesses, and there's a variety of different resources and loan programs available for small businesses. The SBA 504 loan program was specifically designed as a job creation development. So the SBA 504 loan program wants to help small businesses increase and retain their employees. How this correlates to financing and small business occupancy is that the program allows for low down payments and fixed rates so that small businesses can buy and own their properties versus renting and leasing. We found that if a small business owns their property, they are going to be a stronger small business. They're not going to have to worry about a landlord raising their rent or kicking them out of their space. They can control their future. And this program, with the low down payment, allows for small businesses to acquire their building and control their destiny.
Understood. And I understand that operators have the option of maybe taking out multiple SBA 504 loans, correct? So can you talk a little bit more about multiple 504 loans and how these loans are typically structured? Could you also give us an idea of who might qualify for that program?
Yes. So I would take a step back in that there are two primary SBA programs your audience might have heard of. There's one called an SBA 7A loan and one's called an SBA 504. Lots of businesses are helped by the SBA 7A loan program. Combined, whether you have an SBA 7A or a second mortgage 504, there's a general limit of $5 million of dollars available to small businesses. there is not a limit on the number of SBA loans that somebody can have. So you can have lots of little small business SBA loans, but aggregate, there is a soft cap of $5 million. And we have ways in the 504 program to exceed that $5 million cap. So we have some businesses that have multiple $5 million 504 loans. And I'll explain more later as to how that happens. But there is not a limit to the number of loans, but we do have to pay attention to the aggregate number of total SBA loans outstanding.
Understood. And I also know there's another option, the SBA 504 Green Loan Program that offers unique opportunities for businesses who might be looking to go green and increase their environmental responsibility, right? So how can car wash operators take advantage of that program? And what are some examples of maybe some energy efficient upgrades that would qualify?
So going green is a good thing for the economy or the environment, and it just a good lowers your energy bill. There's a lot of good reasons why it's important to go green. Specifically in the 504 program, or SBA financing in general, actually, it allows you to do multiple $5 million loans. Many people don't need that. So if this is your first time buying a building, chances are you do not need to go green because nobody's exceeding that $5 million cap. Some businesses have multiple or have large SBA outstandings, and they need to go green. And the SBA Green Program does allow for multiple $5.5 million SBA seconds. And the way that they qualify for that financing is by including certain energy savings or energy production components into the financing. The most popular one is solar panels, and that's energy production. So if somebody needs to go green and add, for example, solar panels onto the property somewhere that produce at least 15% of the building's energy need, then they can qualify for that second $5.5 million SBA loan.
Understood. Yeah, going green and saving green is never a bad thing, right? It's a win-win, Kurt. So
it is, exactly.
Can you go over some of the primary pros and cons of maybe refinancing to improve cash flow? And can you maybe share any examples of maybe where this strategy has been particularly beneficial?
Yes. So the 504 program historically was a purchase program, working with small businesses to buy instead of lease. Over the years, the refinance ability in the program has expanded. And even last week, the SBA announced additional enhancements, making the refinance program even better. So the example, I have one example that I wanted to share with you, but before I get into the specific example, I just want to kind of go over the idea of the refinance. As I mentioned, the 7A loan program is a popular program, and sometimes that's used for the building or property acquisition. That loan program is often tied to prime, with the rate being prime plus 2 or sometimes prime plus 3. Right now, prime is exactly 8%. And so these rates out there can be 10, 11%. Compare that to the SBA 504 rate of currently 5.79% for a 25-year fixed refinance. So right away, the refinance can dramatically lower the owner's interest rate. We can also refinance and re-amortize that loan so that when you re-amortize, you also lower the payment. And then the third benefit is we can provide cash out. With this 504 program, the SBA calls it eligible business expenses, and that's generally viewed as working capital. And we look at the appraised value, so we can go back up to 90% loan to value and provide cash out up to 90% loan to value. So we worked with a company called Grand Prix Car Wash. They were in Palm Desert, California. They had a high interest rate loan. It was about a $2.9 million loan outstanding. And it was one of those ones that was tied to prime. And so they were looking for a better rate. And what we were able to do was refinance that existing 10% interest rate loan and gave cash out for working capital, which was needed by that small business. And we provided the first mortgage. I believe the first mortgage was $1.5 million. And then the second mortgage from the SBA was the remaining $1.3 million. And together, the total financing paid off the existing loan and gave them working capital.
That's amazing. I'm sure they appreciated that, right, Kurt?
Yeah. And sometimes even when you give the working capital, the monthly payment is about the same, because when you lower the rate, you're saving them the monthly payment, and then the cash out makes the payment sometimes about the same.
It's amazing how that worked. Yeah, my wife and I refinanced a mortgage many years ago and saved ourselves some years of some mortgage payments. So that's an effective strategy that I know of firsthand for sure, Kurt. You mentioned at the top, we're not dealing with chump change here. We're talking about millions of dollars involved in these loans. So I would imagine they're a bit complicated, and obviously as the money is in that dollar range, risk is elevated even higher to get it right. So you mentioned a certified development company, a CDC, such as TMC Financing, that they can make or break a financial deal. Right. So what should car wash owners consider when selecting a CDC, and how can they ensure that they're partnering with someone with a company that intimately knows their industry and their needs?
Yeah, I think it'd be helpful to provide a little bit of background about CDCs and how they work and how your audience can interact with them. Number one, I'm happy to share a link so that people can find CDCs in their market, in their local states. The CDCs are restricted to certain geographies. So TMC Financing is in 5 Western states: California, Nevada, Arizona, Oregon, and Hawaii. But there's other great CDCs all across the country, and I'll send you the link on how to find them. A really good option for your audience, if they're considering buying a building or interested in possibly refinancing an existing loan, would be to start with a CDC in their area and get pre-qualified. Pre-qualifications are free. Once the applicant provides the necessary information, most CDCs are able to get back to the applicant within a couple of days. That response might be, hey, yes, you're pre-qualified for a $2 million building purchase. Or the response could be, hey, we see these concerns. You might want to work on X, Y, and Z over the next coming year and start saving your 15% down payment so that you can be in a position to buy a building someday or buy your property someday. So working with a qualified certified development company will give that information. And then the other important element that a certified development company can do is connect with the bank first mortgage. As I believe we touched upon, the structure of the financing is we get a bank that provides a first mortgage of 50% of the project, and then the SBA, through a certified development company, provides a second mortgage of, in a car wash case, up to 35%, and then the applicant puts down 15%. So good certified development companies like TMC, we know the banks that are interested in this type of financing. Car washes can sometimes have difficulty finding lenders. A lot of banks have concerns about car washes, similar to other special purpose properties like gas stations, hotels, vineyards. A lot of banks shy away from doing this type of financing. But if you partner with a good certified development company, we can help you find a good bank partner that would be interested in doing the project.
All right, sounds good. Is there a website or contact information if somebody's interested in getting a hold of TMC Financing while we're here?
tmcfinancing.com. Yes.
Okay.
We just finished our fiscal year. We did more SBA 504 loans this last fiscal year than any other CDC in the country. I'd be happy to talk with any applicants in our territory, and if I'll share the link for the SBA site so people can see in different states. Contacts for certified development companies. But if your audience just wants to reach out to me and ask me for some of my contacts in other states, I would be happy to pass on my colleagues.
All right, and listeners or viewers of this video can go to the description at the bottom to find that resource, and we appreciate you sharing that with us, Kurt. So do you want to leave operators with any other advice or maybe direction regarding the topics or areas of financing that we discussed here today?
Yeah, I guess I just want to leave the audience with the idea of thinking long term, because it's easy just to keep on paying your rent, and well, it may not be easy, but people might not even know that purchasing your property is an option, and especially with more unusual properties like a gas or car wash. Most people think if you just went into your bank and wanted to get conventional financing for a car wash, they might require 40% or even 50% down payment. And most small businesses don't have that kind of liquidity to sink into the real estate. And so if your audience can think about the idea of owning your property and trying to save that 15% down payment needed. We don't take liens on other properties that they own. There's another loan program that sometimes takes a lien on their houses or other collateral. This is just on the subject property. The banks like it because they're at a 50% loan to value, and the SBA is there to help small businesses. So I really think it's a fantastic program, and happy to share the news with all your car wash audience.
So obviously, it sounds like it's very important to find the right partner, Kurt, because you know, as operators are looking into this type of loan program, they might seem a little daunting to them. It might seem a little too complicated. Obviously, They're busy running their car washes. So finding the right CDC to help guide them through the process sounds like it could make all the difference for them. How does the right CDC kind of help an operator and ease this process a little bit, make it easy for them?
Yeah, great question. TMC, I can't speak for all CDCs. There's a lot of good ones, and I can get that list to you. But what TMC really tries to specialize in is hand-holding and working with small businesses from the very first idea all the way through loan closing. These are usually first-time commercial real estate buyers. So sometimes they own their own house already, but most of them have never bought a commercial property. So we recognize that. We hold their hand. We answer initial questions. We work on the pre-qualification. We can introduce banks. We can introduce commercial real estate brokers to help find a good property. I guess the takeaway is that we want to be their support. We want to be their partner in this journey. And I think it would be kind of fun to read a quote from one of our recent borrowers who, so I'm just going to read the quote. They say, "The SBA 504 loan program was a game changer for us. With the low down payment and favorable terms, we were able to expand our business and improve our services without overstretching our finances. The support and guidance we received was invaluable throughout the process." So I am happy, and it just makes me so glad to work with small businesses and be a part of their dream and be a part of local communities. And I just want more and more people to know about this program because many people don't know about it.
Sounds great, Kurt. And just speaking about long-term, I've enjoyed the relationship with TMC Financing over these last few months. You guys contributing great articles to carwash.com, and we certainly appreciate that. And we look forward to working with you more moving forward here, Kurt. So thank you very much for taking some time to to discuss this loan program with me today.
Thank you, Rich. I really appreciate it.